Hopefully I got that positioned right, because I have a cat in my lap and I can't really reach my phone. Hi souls, welcome to my channel where hobbies go to die. So today we are going to be answering the questions of the newbie Booktube tag. Even though this is going to be more than just Booktube, I do have a whole lot of book content. There's going to be a whole lot of book content. I figured I could answer these questions. So let's go on to it. Ripley sees people outside. But anyways, why did you start this channel? I started Bookstagram last year because I figured that would be a toe into the platform of talking about books and getting into the book community. And once I did that, I felt more confident to finally start the YouTube channel that I've been wanting to do, which a reason why it's the Grim Hobbyist instead of the Grim Bookworm, which is my Instagram handle, is because I want to do more content that is more fitting for a YouTube video than trying to cram it into a reel. Which again, there's going to be a lot of book content, but there's other things that I have brewing in my head I want to do. So the next question is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to YouTube? Book related, I can bring in nonfiction, poetry. I read more than just horror. I mean, it is a primary focus, but I read other things too. You probably don't necessarily see a whole lot of people talk about nonfiction or talk about poetry. You never know. I haven't kind of dug too deep into BookTube to know whether or not there's a whole lot of people talking about nonfiction and poetry and all that. But I feel like I can bring a unique perspective of certain things, certain books, certain crafts, so on. What are you most excited about for your channel? Developing a community, another community that I can talk to about my interests that may be your interest. I mean, I'm assuming that's the reason why you're watching is because it's things that you're interested in. But definitely that. Definitely building a community, being able to talk to other people, being able to ramble is another thing. Being able to ramble and create longer content, which as you can tell by my other videos, I do ramble a lot. Why do you love reading? Escapism. My life's fine, but when you get stressed over the mundane everyday thing, rinse and repeat, cleaning the house and cleaning up kitties and all of that, you kind of need that escapism into books, whether it's fiction, even if it's nonfiction. You're being transported into another world or another person's shoes. That's not necessarily your life. Poetry gives you a certain feeling or vibe to feel. It's just a way to disappear from reality for a little bit, whatever genre you read. What book series got you into reading? So I'm going to be answering this based on when I started getting into reading in my adult life, because there was definitely a lapse. I did read a lot when I was a kid in a certain time frame, but then I kind of lapsed away from it. And then my husband took me to Barnes & Noble and he found this book series. It's the White Trash Zombie book series by Diana Rowland. I think the first one is called My Life as a White Trash Zombie. I'll flash the cover and everything on the screen because I forgot to grab it. He saw the cover first. The cover is really awesome pink, and then it's got this awesome art. I'll also flash the artist's name of who did the covers. And then he read the premise and thought it was really interesting. So he showed it to me. If you ever seen or read the iZombie series, it's kind of like that, where the zombies are zombies, but they are still functioning as far as brain and trying to be part of the society besides their unfortunate unique diets. It's kind of like vampires and their unique diets and hiding in society, but it's zombies. It's in the same genre as urban fantasy, so definitely in my comfort zone of the time. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I would ask my favorite booktubers, especially if you've answered these questions when you first started BookTube, to go back and watch that video and see if you agree with your answers anymore. See if your answers would have changed if you were new now and had to answer the questions again. What challenges will be the hardest with BookTube? With any of these platforms, it is definitely time constraints. Being able to film the content and then having to take that content and then edit it down and get it all ready and everything else for posting based on the schedule. I mean, it's fun filming, it's fun sitting here and talking about things that I like. It's all the technical stuff that's definitely has been a challenge because I've already done a few videos before this one and will continue to probably still be a challenge. When did you start reading? I kind of answered this one, but I started reading when I was a kid, obviously. I can't remember when I started or what book I started to read with as a kid. I do remember Big Red Clifford. Is it Big Red Clifford or Big Red Dog? Clifford the Big Red Dog. Something like that. I remember that, and I remember Hank the Cowdog and Bunnicula. But what I distinctly remember is during school, I would always go to the school's library and immediately zoom over towards all the horse books were. That's what I started reading. That's all I focused on was reading horse books. I think I finally ran out of horse books during junior high, and I was forced to branch out, and I just slowly branched out. I asked the librarian what other horse books could you recommend? I can't remember the book, but it was like a fantasy, and the horse was one of the characters that was talking. It was a talking horse. I can't remember what the name was. I don't think I ever finished it either. It was definitely out of my comfort zone because I wasn't used to fantasy, but it kind of intrigued me at the same time, and that's when I started branching out away from that. But yeah, definitely school time all the way up to junior high, reading all of those. I think I kind of slowly started not reading as much in high school, but then I picked it back up in adult life. 2 more questions. Where do you read? Here. This is where our library is. You can see some of the books over here. My chair would be turned around, but I am facing the sun, which I am losing slowly. We each have our own armchair, and this one's mine, right next to the books. So I usually read here, or I read up at my computer desk upstairs. It's usually my computer desk upstairs because the Win, which isn't on here, but the Win is usually at night after everything is done and I finally have a time to sit down and read. That is when I start reading, so it's normally up in my computer chair upstairs. What kind of books do you read? Is the last question. Whatever interests me. Now I focus mostly on horror or spooky elements or melancholy in poetry. I like those kind of gothic, spooky, horrific stories, but I do also like the cozy elements of cozy fantasies or that sort of thing, especially as a palate cleanser between all of the horror. I'm kind of a mood reader, but mood reader in genre. I mostly follow a TBR shelf or a list. I just go down the list. But as for mood reading, that's definitely genre focused. But yeah, that is everything. I am stuck being a pillow for Ripley, our newest cat, which you probably don't see anymore. She's right here in my lap. So I have brought my books with me because I figured that was going to happen. I'm going to be finished with these by the time this posts, but this is what I'm reading currently. Coraline by Neil Gaiman. I'm loving it so far. I love Neil Gaiman. I want to read more of his books. This is the 2nd book, technically 3rd book if you count Good Omens, which he wrote with Terry Pratchett. I'm also reading the other Goosebumps for the Goosebumps buddy read that we're doing for the year. I finished reading Monster Blood and I moved on to Monster Blood 2. We're reading 2 this week. Not necessarily liking them, but R.L. Stine has done multiple books, so obviously there's going to be some duds. And then I'm also reading Courier by Zoe Rosi. I'll flash her book on the screen, but it is very creepy. It's a short story. I'm taking my time. I probably could sit and read it in one sitting. Yeah, I'm going to be reading those and continue to be this kitty's bed. After this one is posted, next week will be movie reviews for the month of January. So be looking forward to that one. I post every Wednesday. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you next week. Bye, souls.